difference between normal worry and abnormal worry? What constitutes healthy anxiety from unhealthy anxiety? Is there such a thing as healthy anxiety? What is anxiety anyway? Worry and anxiety. Oftentimes these two words are used interchangeably, and people think that they maybe mean the same thing, but they're actually different. Anxiety is made up of two major components. The first component of anxiety is excessive worry. So this constitutes ruminating thoughts, what-if trips, and the inability to quiet the mind. The second component of anxiety is high levels of physical tension. And a lot of people don't recognize the significant role that physical tension plays in maintaining this anxiety. And physical tension includes feelings of nervousness, tensing of the muscles, being uptight and high-strung. And these two components feed off of each other, one often triggering the other. Excessive worry thoughts causing you to tense up, and then tensing up activates your worry thoughts. So the two go hand in hand. And as we dive further into this topic in future videos, I'll discuss the importance of something called mindfulness. And what mindfulness is, it's learning how to quiet the mind, how to stop the chatter, as well as the significance of learning how to relax the body, which is a little bit different than learning how to quiet the mind. It's actually not possible to be anxious if your body is completely relaxed. But how often do we actually take the time to completely relax our bodies and quiet our mind? In these videos, I will walk you through something called progressive muscle relaxation so that you can learn how to physically relax your body. And we will also learn mindfulness techniques that will help you learn how to calm the mind and to stop worried thoughts right in their tracks. All of these are skills. And just like with any other skill, it can be mastered with time and practice. I often like to compare therapy to getting braces. When you first get them, they're super uncomfortable. They hurt, they're really tight. You want to get them out. As you consistently stick with having them on and you go into your appointments, you get them tightened when they need to get tightened, a little tug here, a little adjustment there. Over time, it corrects the problem. Even after you get your braces off, you still need to wear a retainer, otherwise you will lose your progress. I see how that's very similar to therapy in that problems don't happen overnight and they're not going to be solved overnight. It takes time and it takes consistency. And that's how it is with a lot of these skills that I'm going to be teaching you. It's consistently learning them and applying them over and over until it becomes second nature. But for now, I want to emphasize the significant role that the two components of anxiety play. The excessive worry thoughts, what-if trips, ruminating thoughts, and then the physical tension, and how the two of these maintain the anxiety. It's really important that you recognize these two components so you can know how to stop the cycle and prevent it from happening. I always say that recognition and awareness is the first, and I would probably argue most important step for change. You have to be aware that you have a problem in order to be able to change it. And then you need to specifically know what that problem is before you will ever be able to start making the necessary changes towards getting the results that you are looking for in your life. So now that we've learned the two components that make up anxiety, let's break it down a little bit. What's considered excessive worry versus normal worry? After all, isn't it good to worry about certain things? And in fact, some anxiety is good. If we didn't have anxiety and a little bit of worry, then what would motivate us to get up and clean our house or study for a test or to do something that we really don't want to do, like those dishes waiting down in the sink? Anxiety serves the purpose of putting a little bit of fire under our butts to help us get up and get going. Our goal is not to get rid of anxiety altogether because a little bit of it is good and healthy. And one of the ways that you can tell that something has turned into excessive worry or an unhealthy amount of worry is that it becomes difficult to stop worrying. So clearly, a little bit of worry and some anxiety can actually be a good thing. We are trying to distinguish between healthy worry and excessive worry. So excessive worry is something that we need to stop because it's not helpful. In fact, there are several negative physical and psychological consequences to excessive worry. We will dive deep into these consequences in future videos, but for now, know that excessive worry is proven to negatively impact our health and the quality of our lives. Okay, so what's excessive worry? Excessive worry is worrying about improbable scenarios or things that are not likely to happen. And if they did happen, they probably would not be that big of a deal. or it would prove to be much more manageable and less significant than the worry you're worried about. Some examples of excessive worry can be worrying about family members' health and their well-being, worrying that something bad might happen to them or that they might get into some catastrophic accident or car wreck or something completely out of your control might happen. It can be considered excessive worry when you start to feel really concerned about deadlines and have unrealistic expectations and excessive pressure that you need to complete tasks promptly, right away, and with excellence. A lot of perfectionism plays a role in this. With the excessive worries and the what-if trips, it creates doubts regarding your adequacy in various roles in your life, and you can begin to think that you're a failure because these excessive worry thoughts keep ruminating and going over and over and around again in your mind. Worrying usually happens when you're thinking about things that might happen in the future. It's like you're asking yourself, what if? And you're asking this a lot. This is what I call the what-if trips. In future videos, we will talk more about the consequences of these what-if trips and learn how to change the what-ifs to the so-whats and how to not take everything so seriously. To start to adapt the mindset that things are not really as big of a deal as you're making them out to be, that whatever happens, you're gonna be okay and you're gonna get through this. It's a much more of a faith-based perspective than a fear-based perspective. And that's exactly what excessive worry does for you. It creates a lot of fears, future-focused fears and what-ifs. So the main difference between regular worry and excessive worry is that excessive worry is really hard to stop. And with excessive worry, it can start to feel like it's taking over your life and you just can't seem to switch it off. So when this happens, it is a good indication that your worry has become excessive and dysfunctional. When someone worries a lot, they often feel like something really bad could happen, even if there's no evidence to back this up. It's as though at some level they believe that by worrying about something, they're somehow protecting themselves. It even can almost start to become, they may not be aware of this, superstitious, thinking that there's almost some sort of protection that comes by excessively worrying, therefore shielding them from whatever it is that they're worried about happening. So some people who worry a lot say they get nervous when things are actually going well because they feel like trouble might happen or it might be just around the corner, because why else are they not worrying? They've become so accustomed to worrying that when they're not worrying, it almost feels as if there's something wrong, even if there actually isn't anything to worry about. They still tend to worry because they're just used to it. They have begun to think that if they aren't worried, that something must be wrong and they're somehow acting irresponsible, almost like a calm before the storm. When you're really tense, it's extra tough to stop worrying because it's easier to worry when you're tense. So the more tense you are, the more your worry thoughts will increase. And the more excessive your worry becomes, the more tense you get. So you can see that it creates this vicious cycle. In these videos, I plan to teach you all the tips, tricks, and skills necessary to break out of this cycle and to free yourself from anxiety and excessive worry. So we've talked a lot about the difference between what is normal worry and abnormal worry. Now I want to talk a little bit about this physical tension. The tension that your body creates, which is caused by anxiety, it can create a number of physical problems in your body, like muscle tightness, headaches, trouble sleeping, not being able to focus, upset stomach, restlessness, and a general difficulty relaxing. And in my practice, I've had a number of clients come to me because they have been to multiple doctors. They felt like they were having a heart attack or that something was wrong with their lungs and their breathing, or they had palpitations. They felt like they had stomach issues, digestive issues, difficulty sleeping, only to go to the doctor and take multiple tests to get a clean bill of health and find out later that they are completely healthy and that it's their anxiety. And they'll come to me and say almost sheepishly, well, I guess this is all in my head. And I'll say, no, it's actually not in your head. It may have started in your head with those worry thoughts and the physical tension, which created the anxiety. And then over time, that starts to have really significant consequences on your physical health. And then people start to notice that. But they don't realize that it's often their anxiety that's causing these physical symptoms. So it's easy to see why when you're feeling anxious that you kind of become cranky, worn out, and you're just overall stressed and unwell. And the quality of your life is decreasing. So if you are someone who constantly worries about what could go wrong, or you push yourself too hard and you end up feeling drained on a regular basis, you struggle to see what you've achieved or how you will manage tomorrow's tasks, then please stay tuned. In the next video, we will learn how to break these patterns and to get a hold of your anxiety so that it doesn't have a hold of you. I hope this video helped to increase understanding on the two components of anxiety: excessive worry thoughts and physical tension, and the role that they play in maintaining anxiety and keeping you trapped in a vicious cycle of worry and tension. And remember, recognition and awareness is the first and most important step for change. So congratulations on taking this first critical step towards improving your mental health and wellness and breaking the chains of anxiety. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.